Good afternoon, Samuel Academy. This is PAC News, and we're your hosts, Kieran Yuen
and Sergio Reyes.
Today's topic, cultural values and how they may affect your involvement in our political systems. With me today are Rachel, reporting on immigrant culture, Sergio, on minority populations, me on how culture affects women in politics, and finally Amy, reporting on cultural trends. Rachel, take it away.
Thank you, Kieran. On today's report, we have a study from Princeton University called Immigration and Cooperation and Political Participation in the United States. What you can take away from this study is that A, those who live in the states or metropolitan areas with high concentration of co-ethnics are more likely to have contact with or exposed to ethnic media and communities organization. And B, while first-generation citizens may have deeper ties to their co-ethnic communities, such ties may not lead to greater participation in the United political system, because first-generation ethnic organizations tend to orientate themselves more towards homeland politics and U.S. politics.
So Rachel, how does this affect immigration participation and involvement in our political system? And what's the evidence?
Previous studies of immigrant participation have shown that areas of high ethnic concentration can also be areas of lower mobilizations and participation, meaning immigrants don't really participate in American politics because they are more concerned with what is happening in their home country.
Very interesting. So how's that type of culture affected your own outlook on politics?
Coming from an immigrant household, I was always surrounded by a culture that relished the importance of where we came from. The idea of American politics just seemed too foreign, and as a result, I was uninterested.
What you're saying is that they are more focused on what's happening on their home country?
Exactly.
Thank you, Rachel and Sergio. But up next, I believe that my co-anchor has something he wants to report to you.
Thanks, Kieran. For this section, we will be looking at the work of Christian Henriquez, Cultural Values and Voter Turnout, which talks about the Vietnamese in Denmark, which are a minority group and predictably have had the lowest voter turnout based on population in most of Denmark's elections. This is because of the cultural values that most of them have. Christian says, and I quote, "These values create a certain understanding of hierarchy and authority, humbleness and conflict avoidance. This happens to discourage them in participating in politics."
So what you're saying is when people feel like they're the minority in a community, they feel like they have to yield to the will of the majority.
Exactly. Up next, we have Kieran, but first, a word from our sponsors.
My name is Amy Antiso, and I'm the fastest girl alive. To the outside world, I'm an ordinary forensic scientist, but secretly, with the help of my friends from Star Labs, I fight crime and find other metahumans like me. In an attempt to stop the evil speedster Savitar, I was accidentally thrusted into the future, and I saw him murder the woman that I love. But I won't let that happen. I will do everything in my power to change the future, and I'm the only one fast enough to keep her alive. I'm the Flash.
But for this part, we're going to be looking towards Rwanda, where they have over 50% participation from women in their own political system, and how they got there.
The highest number of women parliamentarians of any country in the world. It has had a profound impact on Rwanda's image as a place of death, a place where more than 500,000 members of the Tutsi minority were systematically slaughtered by Hutu extremists. Henrietta Mukamarangwa's brother was killed in the genocide. That's his photo in her mobile phone. There are other photos on other days because Henrietta lost her children in the genocide. She lost her husband, her mother, everyone.
It is very painful. You live with that pain throughout your life. But then to fight against the pain, to fight against what you have to be very strong.
She focused her strength on helping to build a new Rwanda and can now celebrate the country's achievements.
The whole world now wants to learn from Rwanda about gender, about women in Rwanda, how are they developing, what are they achieving. So I'm really very proud of it.
So it's really good that Rwanda is all more than 50% women in their own political structure. But do you really think a cultural genocide is required in order for us to get that, make the extra step towards equality?
Yeah, I don't think that's necessary.
Yeah, me neither.
Up next is Amy, who is going to talk about cultural trends.
I'm going to take a twist on the situation to tell you about how the development of our cultural values in turns affects the political landscape of our country. For this, I will talk to you about Culture Before Politics by Jeff Chang, which talks about how the culture we create act as stepping stones to the final picture of politics. Take, for example, Jackie Robinson. who made his first Major League Baseball debut just years before Brown versus Board of Education, and how Ellen DeGeneres came out on TV in her sitcom right before the legalization of same-sex marriage. Through our own culture, we can see how we normalize and encourage people to pursue what they believe in and to be themselves.